I'm traveling all over Texas talking with average folks about what's going on in our state, certainly sharing with them my vision about what I see coming for Texas and what I think we can do about it, bringing some common sense, common values, fighting for life, liberty, and property, and bringing those values back to the Texas governor's office.
How about some of the key issues?
Key issues have to be understanding that it is private property ownership and gun ownership that secure freedom. And we don't own our property in Texas. We lease it from the many taxing entities. So I'm talking a lot about eliminating property tax in Texas. There'll be a lot of questions here tonight about how we can actually do that. Is it doable? Can we get it done? And the answer is absolutely we can, and I'm excited to share those plans with the folks from Amarillo.
How do you make up that revenue?
You go to a broader-based sales tax. The sales tax is a much less regressive tax than the property tax. It is easier to administer, it is more fair, and it will give us the greatest benefit to the economy, the most efficiency and effectiveness in the economy, but most of all it gives us ownership of our property again, and that's good for all Texans.
Will it disband the appraisal districts?
I think it probably will.
Tell me, you're in a primary with Rick Perry and Senator Hutchison.
Yes.
And that's got to feel like an uphill battle.
It feels like David and two Goliaths.
How do you think you're going to overcome their recognition factor and their fundraising?
I think, in any other time in our recent political memory, we'd say that it's almost an insurmountable challenge. But something's happening. It's happening in Texas. It's happening all across the country. People are waking up to the reality that our government elected officials, by and large, have been making themselves wealthier and us poorer. And this is the time, for such a time as this, for a common person, for a common man to step to the plate and say, I'm here to represent all Texans, and that's what I'm doing. So we are finding a tremendous amount of enthusiasm for this campaign all over the state.
So given those 2 points that you made, what sets you apart from the libertarians, and what makes you a common person?
I'm fighting for liberty. There's no doubt about that. I have worked for nearly 20 years as a Republican Party activist. I believe that it's the Republican Party platform that most closely mimics my own ideas about political involvement and action. I think probably the thing that most people would understand about the Libertarian Party platform is libertarians tend to be pro-choice. I'm a very strong pro-life advocate, and so that's one major difference between, I think, the Republican Party and the Libertarian Party, and between myself and the Libertarian Party.
Well, that's a good segue to my other 2 hot-button questions, then. I have 3. I ask every candidate.
Okay.
You've answered 1. So the next hot-button question is your position on capital punishment.
I've been a strong proponent of the death penalty. I've come out and said, even before this Todd Willingham case, that there are some crimes so heinous that I think the death penalty is the only just punishment. It is the proper role of government to ensure justice. That said, it is also the role of government to defend innocent life, and we must make sure that our judicial process and our criminal justice process is fair and just. I've come out very critical of the governor on his handling of the Texas Forensic Science Commission. We cannot be afraid of the truth, and that looks like we're afraid of the truth. That commission needs to do its work. The members on that commission need to be allowed to do their work, and all Texas needs to have transparency and understand what those findings are so that we can deal with the reality of what's going on in our criminal justice system.
So do you believe that Texas has executed an innocent man?
I haven't seen all of the facts, haven't read the trial transcript, so I've not taken that opinion. But what I do believe is that we must be courageous enough to study the evidence, and I think the governor has undermined our ability to do that by gutting that commission.
Final hot button question is your position on civil unions and gay marriage?
In Texas, we had a constitutional amendment a few years ago. Texans voted overwhelmingly. It's consistent with my own view that marriage is between one man and one woman. Got to remember the role of governor. I'm running here to be governor. That means I'm the executive branch of the state of Texas, leading that branch. That branch's job is justice and law enforcement, and so it'll be my job to understand what the laws of Texas are and to see that they are administered fairly and justly. This is a republic. The rule of law reigns, and those laws need to be administered fairly and justly to all. The people of Texas have taken a decision on that, and I would support that wholeheartedly.
Okay, and you know, this isn't really a hot button question, but I thought of it as you were talking when you talked about property tax and sales tax. That does open the door to the question about an income tax.
Yeah. Again, we're looking for things that keep us free. And man works when man gets to keep the product of his labor. If we steal that from him, call it legal plunder as Bastiat did. If we steal what you work for, you quit working. And so an income tax would be bad policy, and I would fight with every breath I have to make sure that we don't see an income tax in Texas.